These are our power supply control boxes. We also call PSCs for short. And I would love to explain the different features between each of the boxes, but mostly I'd like to talk about why our power supply in these stands out above any on the market. The power supply is what converts aircraft voltage or vehicle voltage into safe USB power for your device. So every one of these units holds the same exact power supply board. Our power supply board allows input of 11.5 to 32 volts, so it can be used with any 12 or 24 volt aircraft system. And the output, the USB output, is 2.5 amps. As some of you may know, Apple devices usually require 2 to 2.1 amps. So this has plenty of juice to power really any USB device you want to plug into it. With 2.5 amps, you should have enough power to plug 2 cameras into one unit actually. So we have some of our customers that will put a Y harness on this and plug in a couple GoPro cameras into one power supply. It also is loaded with a bunch of protections that protect both the aircraft, your device or camera, and the unit itself. The protections are overload protection, short protection, current and voltage protection, both on the high and the low end, spike protection, so on and so forth. If this unit senses any issue with electrical current or power or heat or anything, it will trip off and save your aircraft, the camera, and itself. And then to reset it, you simply cycle power. So turn power off to the unit and it will reset and should be good to go for the next run. It is good from -40 degrees centigrade to 85 degrees centigrade and has been tested at 35,000 feet. It's built into a metal safe case to meet all the FAA requirements and is a good rugged design, and the board itself is formal coated and designed to take the vibrations of aircraft in rough use. One of the things we're most proud of is the fact that our power supplies, we have tested them to have virtually 0 RF output or noise. We've compared them to a number of other power supplies on the market, well-known brands that are supposed to be PMA'd or FAA approved, and found that those power supplies actually have a considerable amount of RF noise or output. We've had customers install 6 power supplies on an airplane and really have no noise issues in their audio system. And if you have a lot of RF issues, it can affect your avionics and different things. So we have gotten this down to minimal, if any, RF noise. So I have a lot of people ask me, why are some power supplies expensive when you can buy a $10 power supply on Amazon? And that is the cheaper power supplies convert voltage differently. They'll drop 12 volts down to 5 and generate a bunch of heat with cheap components. And that isn't safe, it's not reliable, whereas this uses a different type of technology to drop the 12 or 24 volts down to 5 volts, and it generates minimal heat, and it's a much safer design. So first of all, this isn't a metal case, but when you, even if you task this at a high amp draw, there really is minimal heat generated by the unit. So now let's talk about the differences between the boxes. This is our 101 box, meaning 1 USB power output and 1 feature being power itself. So it's simply just the power supply. And this can be wired into the 12 or 24 volt aircraft or vehicle power. And then it has a standard type A USB port that you can use to power your device or camera. This can be mounted out on an inspection cover and then hardwired to a nav light or a devoted circuit run to the panel. And then you would run just some sort of a USB extender through the inspection cover out to the camera. You can also mount this inside the aircraft or behind the instrument panel, and then run your USB wire out to where your camera is going to be. You can put a splitter on this and run 2 cameras. We recommend, if you do that, that the both USB wire runs are the same length, as they'll draw different amounts of amperage depending on the wire length. Then this box, we have two versions of this, the 102 and the 103. It's still just a single channel box, but the 102 allows you to use a composite video cable. So if you have a camera like a Garmin or Drift camera, you can both power the camera and run a live video feed to your panel and into a display such as a G3X or any sort of a PFD that has video input. The other version of this has USB data, so instead of the video port, it would have a USB cable, and that way you could power the camera, and when you're done with your flight or mission, you can download the video files through the USB cable and through a USB port in the flight deck. Then we have our 104 box. This is still a single channel box for one camera, and this has all of our features built into it for our camera. So this allows you to run power to the camera, a live composite video feed to your display or G3X, a record trigger so you can start and stop record, and USB data download. So once you're done with your mission, you can connect a computer into your flight deck and download video files directly from the camera, and then audio. So all of those are wired into the 9-pin mini D-sub, and you can have as many of these on your aircraft as you want. If you want a 6 or 7 camera system, you just need one of these for each camera. And here again, you can mount these out by the camera on the inspection cover and run a long harness into the cockpit, or you can mount these near the cockpit and then run a long USB cable out to the camera. Now for when you do install these, you need to have a wire harness for every one of them, which if you have multiple cameras can be a lot of extra wiring, which is why we made the 404 box. So the 404 has 4 USB outputs for 4 cameras, and then it has the same D-sub connector that's on our 104 box. And this allows you, again, to run to each camera, power, live composite video feed, record, USB data download, and audio. And in this setup, the USB data download port is actually built into the box. There's also a video switch in the box. So we have a trigger wire on the D-sub that when you push a button, it allows you to cycle between the video feeds. So this box is packed with all kinds of features for running multiple cameras. And it's actually built with 2 of the power supplies in the box. So one power supply powers camera 1 and 2, and another power supply powers camera 3 and 4. And you are not limited to 4 cameras. If you wanted to stack up 2 of these boxes and run up to 8 cameras and then wire both of the boxes into your panel with 2 wire harnesses, you could do that too. So as you can tell, it's a very limitless system. It allows you to expand it and modify it in many ways. So if you're the person looking for simply power to power your devices, we have the best power supply on the market. If you're looking for camera control, then we've got our camera controllers built with our power supply.